Welcome to TC and the Wolf, a brand new podcast featuring the Reverend Tom Chandler, a talented but slightly disgruntled music producer, and Nick Wolf, a singer, songwriter, and technology wizard. Important note, everything we say here is a joke and only for entertainment purposes. Do not take this seriously. The opinions expressed do not represent the views of anyone else or any companies we may be affiliated with. Make sure to subscribe, like, follow, and share. And as always, drink responsibly and make sure to tip your waiters.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to TC and the Wolf, episode fucking 4.
Woo! We're on fire.
That's right. I am Reverend Tom Chandler. Over there on my far right is Nick Wolf.
What up?
Close to me right here on my immediate
Very
right.
close to you.
Very, very close.
Wow, that was sweet.
One of my favorite people in the world, Mr. Bernie Godwin. How are you doing, sir?
Thank you, sir. Godwin.
Godwin. Let's start this
Fuck it.
again.
No. That's
we're
great.
keeping that.
Keep that.
We're keeping
Keep
that.
that.
No, dude. It's...
2 votes for keep that.
I'm dyslexic, so you know. This is fucking terrible
we're
for
all
me.
dyslexic, bro. Don't worry about
And
it.
you are guest number 2
Yeah.
for this podcast.
Carl was the preeminent guest, and you are the secondary.
Carl was a cool cat.
He is. He's a good guy. He's
Very
our friend.
cool guy. And I'm number 2. Yes. Thanks for having me.
Let's get into it. So, Bernie,
Yes.
where did you grow up? How are you in Los Angeles? What's happened? Give us the whole
Okay.
fucking
All right.
story.
So the very fast version of this. My folks were East Coast, Manhattan. Met when they were young. Got married. Went to Canada. Went back to America. Then went back to Canada for a couple of years. And then
What's with this Canada shit? What was that
okay,
going?
so what happened? Like when my dad was doing his thing musically, him and his singer, they were doing like their, how would I put it, like heavier Cream Allman Brothers kind of vibe thing going. And
Early 70s?
yeah, so like 70s shit. And things that were changing in New York, it was like the New York Dolls and this punk stuff. And they were just like, they just weren't for it. And they had read the singer at the time had read an article about how there were more places to play in a certain area of Canada than there was in most of the East Coast of the United States. So they fucking hopped it over there, got themselves a deal through, I want to say RCA. And, they cut a record. They
Working
had
for RCA.
yeah, and he had a bunch of like guest musicians on there. He had the Brecker Brothers flown in for a couple of songs, like all kinds of fun stuff.
So wait, hold on. Who was your dad?
My dad was.
What am I not picking up on
Okay,
here?
so my dad was Dito Godwin. He was a music producer. He worked with. He helped Motley Crue get their first U.S. record deal. He did. He handled like promotions in like the mid and northwest in Canada for them. He did No Doubt's first record. He worked with Peter and Ace.
Did,
of Kiss.
as in produced, or
oh
what?
yeah, but as in produced. He did the first one. Then
Bleecker Street?
no, that was the album after that. He did the first one that was on their debut record off of Interscope, the self-titled album, like the red cover. They use it for their logo for everything. So he did that. He's worked with like Great White. He's worked with Janie Lane. He's worked with Charlie Pride. He's done stuff for HBO. He fucking did it. He worked with everybody.
Legendary, bro.
Yeah, and like my lineage thing with my father's side is nuts. Like my dad was the music guy. His father was a music guy, but was like a child prodigy at like painting and playing instruments. Like when he was 7 or 8 years old, the Russian Philharmonic Orchestra wanted to take him back from America to Russia to make him like a first violin
Amazing.
section.
Jesus
Like
Christ.
he's insane.
So this leads me to a question.
Go for it.
What happened to you, bro?
Exactly, right? No, trust me. You know what they say? First the worst, second the best is either third the worst, third the nerd, third something or other. Trust me, dude. It's a beautiful disaster. So like
That was just a joke. You're great.
Oh, I know, but bro, sometimes you got to live in the joke and understand. You got to revel in it. So like my grandfather, like he painted portraits of a lot of famous people. He did like Einstein. He did Sir Alexander Fleming. A lot of presidents and generals. Like his portrait of Einstein hangs in the University of Israel.
Wow, this is a deep lineage.
Amazing.
That was my grandfather, and like
What was your grandfather's name?
Bernard Godwin the first. Bernard Godwin,
That's
and then
why
my
he's the
dad.
second,
And then
yeah.
my dad was Bernard Godwin Jr. But the family had like a housemaid who was Spanish, and she always used to call him Bernardito, Small Bernie, and so Dito just stuck.
Small Bernie.
Yeah, exactly. So they just
Little
stuck, and that was
Bernie.
Dito stuck fucking forever. And then I.
That's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
And so everyone knows, Bernie is a producer, an engineer. He works on all kinds of crazy audio, lots of artists, everything like that here in LA with us, with Elite Recordings and everybody that we're around, right?
Absolutely. I'm grateful to be around the great company.
He's running a side hustle with Avid C24s.
I work for, aside from working in music and playing on stuff and someone says they played it and I'm like, yeah, you did. And then it's me and I just don't say anything. I work for a studio builder for a company called G Sharp Music, and basically we get calls from big studios, home studios. We get calls from like Paramount, Universal, Warner Brothers, and we either help them build up post-production rooms, or I take stuff out of there. I repurpose things if people are having problems with computers or hardware. Either if we can't fix them, we can get them to people who can and get it done quick and back to you. So like, I'm pretty much around music 24/7, whether I'm hitting record or building up places for people or taking things out back and forth.
My question is, how does this relate to the C24?
Homeboy here it talked about faders and wanted to feel the mix in his hands, and I said you can do it with a mouse, but he wants faders, so I said, well, go get like the SSL guy. They can do anything.
Too small.
Small dick energy. Sorry, can't do that. Fuck.
Nothing like the 1-inch Grinch trying to make it happen. Oh my God. Yeah. So like I'm around fixing C24s. I'm working on D controls. I'm working on all kinds of stuff. I've usually got my hands in power supplies and different things of that nature from here and there. And you get to see cool studios. You get to meet cool people, and you just kind of make your way around
Actually,
town.
our conversation was, I want a Neve. I want a Neve console, baby.
Why do you want that?
Because he wants a really high LADWP bill. Because that's what he wants. he wants to have only. Hold on. No. He wants to have only 4 channels work. No, it gets better. He wants 4 channels to work.
This is going swimmingly.
No, this is great. Look, we all want the Neve, but we all know the API is the one that gets the transients for fast-moving things. But
for the audience at home,
hold on.
We are recording through an API preamp right now. All these beautiful mics here.
And there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
Hey, Van Halen 2 is on an API.
Can we also just say that? Exactly. You can, let's put it to you this way. You can't lose with API. You can't lose with Neve. You can't even lose with Focusrite. If you got the good song, it's there. It doesn't matter how you capture it.
Shots fired.
It's not shots fired, bro.
Fucking
it's just,
Focusrite enters the conversation.
I also want to talk to everyone about this at home who are probably my friends listening that don't know what the fuck we're talking about right now, okay? This is a bunch of studio nerd shit we're talking about. So a C24 is basically a large mouse that attaches to your Pro Tools.
And it has a volume knob on it.
It has volume knobs that you can move up and down.
Multiple volume knobs.
Yeah, multiple volume knobs that look like you're actually doing something when you're just moving shit in your software. And there are other studio pieces of equipment.
It's a controller. It's a giant controller.
Yeah, there are other studio pieces of equipment called the SSL, the Icon, and the Neve, which are largely recording consoles for large formats for mixing with your hands as opposed to mixing
with
inside the computer or with a mouse.
Exactly.
I just want everyone to know that because a lot of people are going to be like, what the fuck are these guys talking about?
Thank you, Dr. Chandler. That was a wonderful glossary.
Dr. C, I love it. But yeah, all right, so back to the subject. So my dad was a music producer, and so I kind of grew up in the studio of sorts. I was used to long hours. I was used to questionable language at a very young age, and
marijuana,
oh
alcohol,
my God,
cocaine use.
Oh my God! Let me tell you something. My dad's thing wasn't really drinking or anything like that. I didn't really ever mess with the white powder stuff, but my dad was a goddamn pothead. Oh my God.
Back when it was illegal to be a pothead.
Oh,
too.
dude, it was straight up, Cheech and Chong levels of illegal during those
Cheech
times.
Cheech and
man.
Chong levels.
Yeah, Cheech and Chong levels of illegal,
Dave's
man.
not here, man. Jesus Christ, those were the days.
So I grew up.
How
in
much
that,
weed do you think was being smoked like on a daily basis?
from my pops or just in general?
From your pops, just first. Let's go with
Dude,
that.
acres,
Acres,
man, fucking acres.
We measure this in acres.
So he'd be a dab guy now, probably, right?
Funny. I'll tell you about that. So he and I had tried it together a while back, and similar how like hash, like a hash oil thing.
Yeah.
It like whenever I would have it, it would give me the worst headache, like like a wine hangover.
Oh, hot and mad.
Yes,
I fucking hate it.
So that was me. I couldn't do that. And my dad dabbled in it a little bit, but he was more of like a traditional greens guy. And
Probably just smoked a J every couple hours.
J, right? Something from the something from the glass. Hippie glass is what I always refer to it as.
The one hitter, people. That's what they used to call it.
So that was like one of his things. But like, I grew up around that. I grew up around, I basically grew up around the it's not done till it's right. I grew up around that.
You're talking about weed or music?
Sure. So exactly. So no, I just grew up in the time of tape. I grew up in the time of you got to do it again till it's right.
All right, so let me ask you this, okay?
Go for it.
A lot of people wonder, because tape is this old mystery for a lot of people now, where no one has a lot of experience with it. What do you hear that's the sonic difference between tape and the computer that's detectable, that you can explain to the audience what that sound difference is?
So I'll try and sum this up like a little bit of history of tape and some of the outboard gear and what made the world, in my view and opinion, in the world of DAWs and computers, compatibly speaking. Okay. So when we had desks that we would record through, there was consoles. Okay. There was a lot of noise. There was a shitload of noise. There was no really, not for a long time, there was not a really congruent formula of how to clean up electricity in studios of that nature. Okay?
Especially if it had Dolby and shit.
Exactly. Okay, so that was tough. So then you had like these Dolby SR pieces of equipment that would help you level out top end, would help you level out sounds and getting things quieter. And so the ultimate goal was we want this to be quiet and capture what we have in front of us as best as we can with these pre's and some compression and EQ and whatnot, okay? When the digital realm came out, obviously a lot of the clicks, the sounds, and the overusage of tape, like if you do too many takes, the tape is done in a sense.
It gets tired and worn out.
Exactly.
There's less high-end information.
Exactly, because that's what magnets usually pull to first is the top end. Then that's what kills a lot of tape is the magnets, and you have to have magnets in order to hit record. That's how anything in those days would transfer over. That's how electric guitars work. All the pickups are magnetic, and that's how all this transfers. So you're obviously in a constant battle of weight of the magnet, the tape, the takes, the musicianship, all this, that, and the other. Now, when the computer comes about, there is no more of the problem. You don't have maybe what people would call the immediate saturation. Like if you push tape, it's got that sound, and it just does. But in digital distortion, it's like the second worst sound in the world there is.
Yes.
So
and in early Pro Tools, it was the worst sound ever.
Plain and simple, it was the worst. And and I'd say this as a devout heavy duty Pro Tools user, but I'm not blind to the struggles.
Lackluster performance of the first 10 years of Pro Tools.
Hey, man, Rome wasn't built in a day, buddy, all right?
I understand.
But it was still better the first day than the first day of Pro Tools. So
the first day of Rome?
Exactly. The first day of Rome was still better than the first year of Pro Tools.
That's a solid quote.
Yeah, because I'll put it to you this way. Rome, there were titties there. Okay? There weren't titties in Pro Tools. There were moobs. Okay? He can, trust me, he can vouch. Trust me.
Yes, I can.
So back to the question.
The difference between tape and recording in the computer.
In the tape, tape made you honest. Tape made you honest. Tape made the movement in your mix a performance. Tape made you really realize who you were really fast. The computer.
No room to hide.
Exactly.
Separating the men from the boys.
Exactly. And the fake masculine to the overly observant butchie, you could say.
Okay.
So, when you get to the computer, obviously when things first come out, they're like, oh, it's to this. There's no saturation. There's no life. There's no love. but what you're able to do. I mean, back in the day, in the 70s and 80s, when you wanted to do a loop or you wanted to run a snare hit backwards or a cymbal splash backwards, do you know what kind of miracles of God
Oh,
it
yeah,
took?
no, that
what
was a
miracles
big-
of God it took to go do that?
That was a big fucking deal. I don't know if people know that there were days spent on a sound that went, oh, first I could live without thee.
Exactly.
On the fucking Def Leppard record.
Yeah,
right?
you listen to Def Leppard, you listen to Pour Some Sugar on Me on the reverse hits of the snares, and you're just like, how the fuck did they do this on tape? Do you know how incredibly time-consuming that would be?
That's a whole
you
day.
You couldn't sample it on a keyboard and then just do this. Because yes, it would be easier, but it just didn't work that way.
But see, there's something to be said for the blood, sweat, and tears, the struggle that goes into anything. And a lot of times, things that require that level of struggle are more valuable in the end.
Absolutely, and there's no question about it. But if you can get there quicker to have opportunities for other fun elements of music to be there, it's fun. I mean, like my dad used to joke all the time that he once written on his grave, my kingdom for another track. Like, dead serious, you know.
Because he was dealing with 24 tracks.
Yeah,
That does
exactly.
the thing, yeah.
And, you know, he's like the first, he always told me the first two tracks that would go would be the click track and the hi-hat track. He didn't need those at one point. He's like, okay, find me room, find me room on tape. But, there is a
And few people understand that like a tambourine and the guitar solo would go on the same track. back then.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you would ride the fader.
That's brutal.
Which is the control on the console for like how loud or soft something is during those times. You would have to physically go, okay, during the chorus, the tambourine ends and we have to bring the solo up or down.
Yeah,
or whatever.
and then
So-
they would also do where they would bounce tracks down fourth. Be like back in the day when there was just a 4-track, they would take a performance and then bounce it
Ping-pong-y.
instead of like exactly. So it was like 4. You get 4 tracks, and you can bounce that to 2, and just go back and forth and layer to the point where either the tape is done or you have the song done.
And what you figure out really quickly then is how good your mix has to be before you bounce, which is a motherfucker and really hard to understand. That was the challenge back
'Cause
then.
there's no going back.
There's no going back.
Yeah, and like if you think about early consoles, there was no automation. There wasn't no, hey, let me practice this on the console beforehand and then hit play and see how it sounds.
I love the stories of like, this is on Def Leppard stuff, Motley Crue stuff, and even earlier stuff, where you'd have to have like 4 guys in front of an SSL, and this guy would take like the first like 8 channels or whatever, and so on and so on, and then they would have to basically do a little dance
Yes,
to
it was
get the mix down.
The mix was a performance, and that was and in itself that was an art itself, and that is something for the most part that is certainly lost now.
They were even doing this like in the early 90s, right? Like Smashing Pumpkins, Siamese Dream, they were all like fucking
dude,
moving faders together.
My dad had the guys in No Doubt on there coaching them about where they had to make their moves to go make it happen. He did it to me when I was younger. It was obviously on a much smaller console, but I had to go do moves with him before, and you learn real quick about being like of one hive mind. Like you are all performing this, and if someone fucks up, it's over, and you have to start over. I mean,
But that also creates a fucking really tight community of the people working on the music together.
exactly.
And that you coexist to make the music exist together, which is interesting, which we've lost a lot of that. Like you come
Yes.
in, you record with someone, they come in, they do their part, they leave, and then it can all be done 2.5 dB at a time or something over the course of the next 2 months or whatever when you're mixing it. But yeah, that's what's interesting. I remember watching like them make Dark Side of the Moon, which is a record which largely has no compression, just has a shitload of fader.
just like Thriller.
Yeah, ton of fader.
A ton of fader moves. Homeboy absolutely despised a compressor, and it just goes to prove the compressor doesn't make the record. The EQ doesn't make the record. I can say the pre can sometimes because that's how you're driving into the line level.
All right, let me explain to the people.
Sorry.
to Neve.
I got to explain what a compressor is to our audience that listen to paranormal shit. Okay, a compressor is a device which, as you sing into it or perform a part into it, it takes the highs and lows and makes like a mean between the two and keeps. Say you're whispering something as opposed to screaming something, it keeps them closer to the overall volume. That's kind of the situation.
It levels out the volume so it's not peaking and going fucking crazy.
It's a piece of equipment though that does that. Just
and
so you
basically,
know.
like compression and EQ, you hear all these terms. Basically, what it all is doing, it is controlling volume at different phases of a transient or on a spectrograph of tone and from high to low. And that's basically all we ever get to play with. You hear all these fancy words. All it really is we're controlling volume at either how high or low it goes, or at certain frequencies how hard we let it go or don't let it go.
Well, no, what's interesting is I had a very famous friend who's an engineer, French dude that was over here. He did a bunch of like film stuff, like he did Avengers, the film and stuff like that, soundtrack. And literally what he explained to me, he goes, there's only so much you can do with audio, which is what I like about it, that it's a finite existence. Do you see what I'm saying?
Correct.
Where there's the volume, how loud or soft it is. There's the frequency, which is how the EQ, which is the equalization, is treated within the music. There's the saturation, which is what kind of color we're giving to it, or distortion, or kind of filter. It'd be like an Instagram filter for your voice.
Absolutely.
Kind of thing over it. And there was also the width, the depth. So where something sat in a mix, front to back, where it was. And the last component was the left to right.
Correct.
How far to one side of the right speaker or the left speaker or the center speaker that things were. And that's really what we're dealing with mixing and with audio 9/10 of the time, right?
Completely.
Yeah. It
hasn't really changed.
No. And
no, even with all the plugins, with everything, you're still dealing with the absolute prime of what it is. It's just right there. It doesn't change.
But the whole question about old school tape and consoles versus modern computer stuff, the big difference there is essentially the level of control, the level of detail, the level of audit and editability, right?
Absolutely.
So really, the number one
Automation,
thing is control. That's what it gives you.
Absolutely. And what, like you've heard all the old sayings, like when Pro Tools came, the pros left, and Slow Tools and all this, that, and the other. But
it's kind of true.
And it's 100% true. It is painfully true. But I will say this. When people heard about Pro Tools or any DAW or any form of working with a computer or electronically with music was poo-pooed upon by people that came before it. Now we're in we're in an era where it's been very fully accepted, and we have been able to push boundaries beyond what we could normally consider before. Having the track counts. Yes,
just the ability to sidechain something.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is the process of like making something the focal point of a mix and getting other things to duck in relationship to how loud those things are. That's groundbreaking. That really only happened in the computer, to be real.
100%. Yeah. And now we're in the world where Skynet, artificial intelligence. I'm dead serious. Artificial intelligence, and we're in the world where people now can just say what they kind of want to hear, and it will be there in 30 seconds.
Well, and this goes beyond the mixing and engineering part. You can create music from scratch. Guitar part, vocal part, whole song. You can create a whole character using AI, and it's very powerful but very scary in its own right.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to eliminate a lot of jobs.
It absolutely is going to eliminate.
Shout out to Jobs.
Shout out to Jobs. No, it's really getting scary because, like, as Ozzy died, like a few months ago, I had a lot of people sending
Ozzy died so AI could be born.
No, but largely for the music community, it was. I had a lot of friends that sent me tracks that they put into Suno, that they put into Ogi or whatever.
Yeah.
And literally, they presented me with music that would have cost $5,000 to produce.
Easily.
Easily. With Jeff Scott Soto type vocals singing on it about Ozzy and what kind of guy he was and like the love he had for his family. And it was crazy what I heard. They would do the same lyrics with different songs and different styles. One would be like Dreamer or like Mama, I'm Coming Home. And then one would be like Bark at the Moon. And it's getting good at doing that. However, I feel like there needs to be laws made so people still have jobs and still have control over how music is created because, man, it's getting out of control. And there's AI artists now that are being signed. There's AI artists that are more popular than real artists.
Yep.
It's insane, right?
It absolutely is. And, we're just in the infancy of it right now. Think about 20 years down the line where this is going to be.
I won't be here, but okay. My drinking habit is way too much for that, bro.
I'd like to see AI do that.
To drink like me. Yeah.
To drink like you and then put out what you do and just be like, you can do that, really? And the AI's like, I could do anything. I'll lay my guitar down.
There was a great tweet from like the guy from Hoobastank or something, and he said, they say AI is going to replace all the jobs, but I'd like to see AI take 3 different Southwest flights to get to Sheboygan to play for 3,500 people.
To play for 35 people if you're in
Something like
Hoobastank.
that. I don't know.
Yeah, let's, yeah.
31, actually.
So, but there's another side to this that I think that could be a possibility. I don't know, maybe right now, but there's this guitar player I absolutely love. His name is Tom Bukovac. He lives in Nashville, and he is probably one of the most recorded guitar players alive. You know, you listen to the radio, a lot of it is him.
He's the Brent Mason of today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so he had for somebody who's so knee deep in traditional recording or as close to it as you're going to get, he embraced it because he said he feels it's going to bring back people to like, hey, let's sit in a room and just hit record. Let's be human about this. Let's show what the real human emotion is, and that will possibly bring more people back into music in that
Authenticity.
The authenticity
And legitimacy to like the actual fucking story that
exactly.
you're trying to tell and your life experience.
And on top of which, the hiccups, the things that don't get fixed, that make it. I mean, like my dad and I always used to refer to certain things like when you're doubling guitars as the Iommi effect. Mm-hmm. Like when either it goes a little too far out or gets a little too close in. Sometimes you have to leave that in, or you have to have the Iommi effect to let
Gives
it know.
Gives a character.
Exactly. You have to show that this wasn't just grab, paste, move over, and that's it. You have to show that you're human. Like that's like, you listen to all the old records that, Van Halen 1, Van Halen 2, all these old records before, and you hear how certain things are just so out of tune, but we never heard it out of tune. We heard it as a moment, and that's what's important.
Vibe.
What's interesting to me, I was going to talk to you about this, is that with the advent of being able to hear things perfectly, musicians thus responded to being able to hear it, audiate it, and perform it perfectly. Which is really interesting because, like, when we were back in 1983 listening to Van Halen, like 1984 or whatever, like, Jump or something, we didn't really have a reference for what real time was. And you couldn't, like, in your brain think about what 129 beats per minute is.
Yeah.
And if something's keeping up with it. And what in tune is has also changed, you know what I mean, over time because
Absolutely.
of auto-tune, Melodyne, things like that. And it's really interesting to me to think about people now singing auto-tune artifacts into their song, and they literally do because they've only heard, like I deal with a lot of younger female musicians who I'll reference a song that I think is a new song. Like I brought this up to Jules the other day. I'm like, have you ever heard Dance Dance by Fall Out Boy? And she was like, I've never fucking heard that song, dude. I don't know what we're talking about. Like she hadn't heard it and had no reference point for it. So,
do you know how many gray hairs just came into my chin just hearing that right now?
Jules didn't know what Dance Dance was.
That's a great song.
I know.
Shout out to Jules.
She hadn't
the almighty Jules.
She hadn't heard it, but that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like I was making a reference to something, and that's a lot of something else that's gone with music these days, which is pedigree. Which is like you grew up with your dad, with his experiences,
smoking a lot of weed,
and experiencing music, and you had to know who the guitar player was for Elvis. You had to know who Jimmy Page was, even if you had no relationship to Jimmy Page. We all had to know who Jimmy Page and Jimmy
there was a historical hierarchy that kind of came with all of this. Like I always used to joke, like when people when Korn and Nirvana and all that was happening, I was growing up on like the Beatles and Yardbirds and Hendrix, and I was going through Zeppelin and all that stuff. And by the time I kind of was coming into my own and listening to that, it was break stuff. And so and don't get me wrong, that's a fucking beefy riff, and
it's a great song.
It is. It's plain and simple. But I kind of grew up kind of like I imagine a lot of other people in my situation at times grew up kind of seeing what kind of led to what everything is kind of going to. Then I eventually landed up where I was, and I was taking in everything maybe I had missed when I was 10 and 11 and this, that, and the other, and kind of going in there and seeing like, okay, well, this feel came from something like this, but it was a much heavier, angrier sound, or this was actually a cover from this song from way long ago. And I just kind of got that perspective musically just because of the environment I was in.
But pedigree with music, like it exists in classical music still.
100%.
Because you have to know, the eras. You have to know there's Renaissance music, then there's classical music, and then there's, romantic, baroque, romantic. You have to know 20th century music. You have to have a vibe for that in order to play the certain styles. Where with rock music and pop music, that has largely gone away, minus stuff that's like in movies or something, Michael Jackson tunes, Madonna tunes,
and that's kind of unfortunately how a lot of people learn about these songs that kind of came before their time, and it was kind of our time. Kids today have no idea who Britney Spears is. All they know is this is a chick that went crazy and shaved her head and dances naked. I'm serious. That's how some of these people are known now.
With knives, stabby, stabby.
Well, it's like that thing where Kanye and Paul McCartney did something, right? And then these people were tweeting out, like young kids were tweeting out,
Shout out
like,
to Easy.
dude, this Kanye song was so sick, blah, 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 blah. But by the way, who's this Paul McCartney cat? He's not bad.
And then there was a version of that in the 90s when the infamously oily Diddy did his version of Kashmir with Come With Me for the Godzilla soundtrack. And most people had never heard...
Wait. Godzilla soundtrack?
Yes.
Because I'm the biggest Godzilla fan in the world. That's a supreme soundtrack, dude. I'm not fucking... There's a Fuel song. There's a fucking Diddy song that's amazing. There's Ben
quite a
Folds.
wide variety.
I mean, Wallflowers Heroes is on that shit. That's fucking great.
Dude, there's so many of those, like... There's so many, like, you think about the 90s and 80s and even the early 2000s, so many movies had some really killer soundtracks. Like, look at Go, look at The Crow.
Go is fucking awesome. That's the best No Doubt song.
Yeah.
New is the best No Doubt song.
There's that. You had so many, like, movies that had soundtracks that actually mattered. You had, like, The Labyrinth. You had Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? You had, everything from John Williams. And it feels like almost now today, almost no one gives a shit.
Well, bro, here's, I think, what is the punchline of all this. Art has become disposable. And I'm sad to say that. I don't want it to be that way.
Right? And none of us want it to be that way, but it's such a for granted commodity.
I'm going to say this. I don't see it as disposable.
Not in my view.
No. I see it as functional and how it will enhance whatever you're trying to experience. Okay?
Absolutely.
So people say, I want to have a pool party this afternoon. What are the jams that we listen to around the pool that's going to get everybody in the right mood, in the right vibe? There's a lot of vibe-based playlists and things like that coming around, which people are using music for how they would use it. It's like a tool. It's utilitarian as to how to enhance a different experience. Do you see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It still has its place, period, right? People can't live without it.
People listen to one of your songs that's like really ethereal and go, I can hear this being part of a movie soundtrack.
Yeah.
They react not to whether they like it or not, or whether they're relating to the material in the song, but what they would use it for.
Absolutely.
And that's a different vibe altogether.
Completely. And every environment you have, there will be some form of sound or music or in there, because if not, then we've literally just become bugs at that point. I'm dead serious. Like there's no point.
But to what you were saying, right? Like you would have some big movie, like a Batman movie, and it would have like a couple blockbuster songs that go with it.
Dance, bro.
And it would cement the moment, right?
Absolutely.
And it would hearken you back to that. Anytime you hear that song, you think about the movie. Anytime you see the movie, you think of the song.
Oh, absolutely.
And it was very moving.
I think of Batman. I think of Prince and who's the other one? And
Kiss from a Rose. Seal.
Yeah, Seal.
Yeah.
Come on.
How am I drunk and I'm the only one that remembers
Yeah,
this?
Jesus. Like I used to talk to
you do
friends
have
of
that
mine.
seal tattoo.
It's not so much a tattoo as it is a scar.
Oh,
On my cheek.
I worked with a friend
this
of
has
mine.
gone wrong.
No. I had a friend of mine who loved Seal so much. He used to joke about like stabbing his face. I'm not joking. To have scars like him because he loved him so much he wanted to be him. I'm dead serious.
Well, to be real, the dude had one of the finest hits of the 80s. Crazy.
Oh, come on.
Is a fucking insane song. And it's as good as every Sting song and everything else that was at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, and then Kiss from a Rose took it from and that's, hey, Nick, this is one of the times when the Middle Eastern scale was imposed.
Yeah,
and I thought it
come
was
on.
actually useful and good. As opposed to most of the time when I hated it. But no.
We talked a little bit about this in episode 3.
Yeah, in episode 3.
I like this.
That I hate, like when bands go into a Middle Eastern vibe.
Oh, so like when you hear Norwegian Wood, you just get absolutely entrenched in
Not
anger?
not necessarily that, but like Battle of Evermore from Led Zeppelin,
yeah.
whenever
I got you. When it's just obliquely used.
Yeah, and when Dream Theater's playing a bunch of like Phrygian dominant
You
shit.
could have just said Dream Theater, and we could have assumed that.
It was just terrible. Yeah,
And I'm not saying I hate Dream Theater. I just there's songs.
but they have 3 albums that are good. The rest suck. Anyway, continuing on. So, yeah, there's been a lot of crazy good soundtracks out there. I think back to like Pretty in Pink with like Don't You Forget About Me.
Oh God, what a song.
On the Breakfast Club. You know, all the John
Like all
Hughes
those 80s movies had like banging songs, dude.
Absolutely. Think of Top Gun.
Yeah.
I mean, like Top
Steve
Gun.
Stevens, bro.
Oh my God.
Take my breath away.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like you
How do you
want
have 2 top hits like that in the same fucking... Footloose is a great...
Well, but
fucking
this
thing.
is kind of his point, which is like there was a time when that mattered. That really fucking mattered. You couldn't have a big movie without a big soundtrack.
And I'll tell you a funny one. Like, think about the movie Roadhouse. All right,
Yeah.
Jeff Healey. No one talks about
How
him.
the fuck is Jeff Healey not still a thing? How is like Derek Trucks bigger than Jeff
Okay,
Healey?
so for those who might not know who Jeff Healey is a blind musician, not just played guitar and sang. He made a jazz record. He's a psycho musician. He decided one day to pick up trumpet and play. I don't know if
Trumpet's my favorite instrument.
trumpet is one of the hardest instruments on earth to be good at, because if you like skip one day and not have your lips working, you're going to lose something.
The embouchure in your mouth is the most important thing. Like how tight you can make the notes, and like when you see people that have been doing that for fucking a million years, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's insane to think about how much work it is. Like guitar, you can stop playing for 6 months
and get back in it.
and get back in it in 2-3 days, and you're fucking cool, right? Trumpet's not like that.
No.
it's very physical.
It is. So Jeff Healey is a blind guitar player, and he would play on his lap like a pedal steel guy or a piano player.
Yeah.
And he would play with his hand over the neck like this. He would use his thumb in chords and bending instead of it just being the pivot foot on the back of the neck. Mm-hmm. And just a absolutely phenomenal singer and guitar, like just phenomenal. Do yourself a favor and just look up some stuff.
What was his song? Angel.
Yeah.
Angel's a fucking great song.
Yeah, he was disgusting. I mean, there's a video of him cutting heads with Stevie Ray Vaughan, and he stands up blind, running at Stevie Ray Vaughan, shredding his face off, and you can see Stevie Ray Vaughan's like, "Oh my God, this man is insane," and I'm Stevie Ray
I
Vaughan.
fucked with the wrong blind motherfucker right here.
Straight up. Yeah. But back to it, it seems like nowadays there's songs are not being predominantly written for movies. I mean, like the last huge one was like, Iris or I Don't Want to Miss a Thing. I can't think of one today for like a movie. You think of movements in music for like maybe Dune or Pirates of the Caribbean or the Dark Knight trilogy.
But those are largely classical themes.
Exactly. But there's not a song that made you go, oh man.
I think that should be our homework assignment, is to go see like, was there a big song on a big soundtrack past what you're talking about? Because there's got to be something.
So these days, Netflix, Demon Hunters, K-pop Demon Hunters,
that K-pop song.
Those songs are fucking incredible, and it literally only exists because of the Netflix show. I mean, the songs are fantastic.
Which, by the way, that is the biggest show in Netflix history now.
Oh yeah, no, it's
fantastic. The most seen. Period.
Mm-hmm. And
crazy.
It's because of the music, which is interesting.
That is a really kind of a crazy, interesting trip.
I don't even think the animation's that fucking good on it. I could take or leave like what the fucking show's about.
I'm grateful
I was just
my
reading this article today about this phenomenon, right? And they're basically saying how Hollywood has remade its image based on what Netflix has done over the last 10, 15 years. Like they've dominated and they've changed the business.
Oh, absolutely.
And now Netflix is kind of in this preeminent position, but compared to like a Disney, they don't have the same level of like brand penetration. Like the article is basically
they
like,
also don't have that money.
Where are the Huntrix toys? Is basically the point of this article.
Absolutely, and
there will be some probably.
Is it called Huntrix or Hunter X? I could never tell.
I thought it was Huntrix.
I don't know. I've never had that cleared up for me.
I'm just grateful my son, like when we would go through Netflix and stuff and he saw that demon K-pop stuff, he was like, "Nah, Dad, we're not watching that." And I'm like, "Thank
Solid.
God."
You raised your son correctly.
Oh yeah. My kid is all about like when he does like his music thing, like his favorite song in the world is "Everybody Wants to Rule the World." I'm dead serious.
He
Like,
just loves triplets.
he
He loves a Bernie shuffle. He loves a Bernie shuffle.
yeah. What's not
Maybe
to love?
when he was in the womb, you guys were listening to some shuffles and it
They were
really
listening
stuck with him.
They were listening to Peg by Steely Dan. Same thing. Jesus.
No, I think what we were listening to? We were listening to like Ghost. We were listening to like
Oh, shit.
David Bowie, Nine Inch Nails.
And now he's a Satan worshiper, and it's awesome. It's all great.
It is funny you say that though. Hold on. This
Oh,
will be good.
God.
My son is not a
My
Satan
son
worshiper.
is a Satan worshiper
So-
by Bernie Godwin. There we go.
Exactly. My
Is his
son
name
Bernard-
Bernie Godwin Jr. the fourth?
Third?
He's the fourth. I'm
No
the third.
shit.
Yeah, he was. Me and my wife were this close to naming him something else. We were going to name him originally Dylan Rupert Godwin, so I could call him Dr. G everywhere we went.
Rupert for Rupert Neve?
Yes.
My man.
You guys are the two biggest. No women are listening to this podcast anymore at this point. This is just
She's like, if I hear Neve one more goddamn time, turn this fucking
Just
shit
a bunch
off.
of dry women listening to this out there, just not enjoying
All
it.
I have to say this to them is this 1084. Anyway,
1073.
84s had better top end and
just
EQ.
stop, just
anyway,
stop.
I'm gonna
Just-
stop.
you guys
Anyway,
are fucking
so no,
dorks.
we would play. My wife and I would play music in there, and so like we're listening to the song "Mary on a Cross," and like some of the chorus is a bit vulgar, but he didn't hear that. All he heard was like, you go down just like how we married Mary on a cross. And we're like, and the lyric goes like, you go down just like Holy Mary, Mary on a cross, and we won't change him from saying it because we're too afraid to show him what it really
What it really
means.
says. Jeez.
It's really
Interesting.
cute like that, and then like like that Satanized song. I'm a Satanized. No, you're sanitized. Don't worry, big guy.
Sanitized.
And then when he's old enough, he'll be like, "Sorry, bro, we didn't want people to come into the house and be like, is your dad and mom, like devil worshipping psychopaths?"
You know what?
You mean like psychopaths?
Here's what's funny. Oh, I got to tell you guys a story.
Please
This
do.
is fucking hilarious. So I've been on Hinge lately. You know that app?
You've
where
been unhinged
I've
lately?
been on Hinge,
Oh, okay. All
the
right.
dating app.
Ooh.
And I met a girl, and she was like, "We should talk." And I was like, "Cool, you want to talk on the phone?" She's like, "Fuck yeah!" So we get on the phone, we start talking.
I love his stories of love.
And dude, this is fucking horrific, right?
Oh, this is gonna be good.
This chick starts talking to me, and we're kind of just getting to know each other. How many siblings do you have? How are your mom and dad? How did your older relationship end? We're talking about
I gotcha.
about shit like, because she's like 46, I'm 50. We're old fucking people at this point.
You're experienced.
Yeah, and we're getting a vibe for each
Okay.
other. And she's like, "Well, I just really want to make sure that we're on the same page because I'm a Christian." And I was like, well,
nice.
what kind of
What
Christian?
level are we talking?
Are we talking like you're Catholic and you go to church twice a year for Easter and Christmas?
That are there 4 days a week at church.
No. Okay. So this chick, not kidding you, not kidding, was like talking to snakes, and like she brought up the word Satan and demons in the conversation we had like 600 more times than I'd ever heard in any fucking like Behemoth song. Like,
And it's funny you said Behemoth. I was thinking that band.
that's what I'm saying. Like this was like crazy. Like it was to the point where I was like starting to feel like Satan or a demon was like going to walk into the room because she had said it so much. Do you know what I mean? It's like when you call upon the spirit or something.
Exactly. And then the trash can lid moves by itself.
Yeah, no, I was waiting for some crazy haunting shit to happen again because I was getting laid into it. And I was like, okay, well, clearly I don't agree with you. So we'll talk a little bit more. Like, and I kind of like waved the conversation down and
Drew the
away
fader
from
in on that one.
And I was like, yeah, so I'm an atheist, and you could have clearly read that if you read my fucking profile. But,
I like your delivery on that.
no, but that, I mean, she could have done some homework, you know what I mean?
Idea. Let's have her on the pod.
Let's not. Do you want to talk about speaking in tongues and holding snakes and shit?
Yes,
Because
I do.
That's literally where we were at. And she was like some ER nurse in like Washington and shit. And I was like, what are we?
She probably has great stories, dude. Imagine she's in the ER trying to help someone like survive, and she starts doing prayers, speaking in tongues.
No, she was telling me that she was working in the chapel at the church as like what would you call it? Like an interim reverend. And I'm like, well, I'm an interim reverend as well.
I am the Reverend Tom Chandler.
Exactly.
which was fucked up. But no, that was really strange to like, I haven't talked to someone that fucking nuts.
Or that deep into it.
Like in 20 fucking years, I haven't talked to anyone that's like, to the point where they're like, when you are inhabiting thoughts of the flesh, you're invoking demons and you're like worshiping Satan.
So this is like
somehow.
a level 11.
Yeah, this is like
type
I
shit.
think I'm in deep shit.
You do?
Just like, just about the flesh and all that. I'm just like, ooh.
No, I was legitimately freaked out. Like,
I would have been
and
too.
I had to get off the phone with her, and like my friend I was talking to after that, she's like, "Sage your fucking house." She said Satan and demon like fucking 300 times, and I was like, "Yeah, it was weird, dude." Like there are still people apparently out there like that think this way, that have good jobs and families.
Is this
And they're not
was this
Amish?
an LA person?
No, actually, they were saying they were thinking about moving to LA, and they were from like Washington, like Eugene, Washington, or Oregon, or some shit.
Well, that's interesting. So, like, I don't know about that app, but shouldn't it have like sort of a radius
I put
clause
a
or
radius
something?
on it, but they put that they're like downtown Los Angeles, and they tell you other shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Sketch.
So it was pretty scammy, but at the same time, I was not impressed with this chick, and it was
Bye-bye.
pretty fucking wild. But to think about like how saying things and invoking like
Absolutely.
images bring things into your life, I was like, bitch, you were dealing with demons fucking way more than me, like 1,000% more than me.
And you're
know?
in the music
And I'm in the
industry.
music industry where we straight up like have these eyes wide shut parties where we all get famous. You know what I mean? It's awesome.
My dad used to have this saying, like the music business full of liars, pimps, hookers, thieves, and drug dealers, and all this, that, and the other. Then there's the bad side.
Isn't that like a Bukowski quote or
No,
something?
it's from Hunter S. Thompson.
Hunter
Yeah,
S. Thompson.
there you
Hunter S.
go.
Thompson.
I should have known
He said that the music industry is a shallow and narrow money trench where good men go to die. There's also a downside.
It's such a brilliant quote.
Yeah, it is.
And then there's
Tom.
attorneys.
There's music attorneys who are whole.
That's a whole other
Speaking
level.
of evil and demons,
Yeah.
I'd like to talk to you about
I
those
can't believe it
motherfuckers.
took that long to get there.
Yeah, I know.
So, Bernie,
Yes, sir.
you've had quite the storied history, and you've got many generations of Bernies with
Yes.
all kinds of colorful contributions
Godwins,
to the
not
arts.
good ones, just I'm saying.
Godwins, not Goodwins, baby. Maybe you should have an album called Godwins, not Goodwins. That's kind of good, actually.
Godwin's not good.
It'll work. Continue next.
Or
Please.
a band name for that matter. Anyways, and you now are basically a studio mensch, right? You can get me a C24 and yada yada. We're gonna skip over that.
Mm-hmm.
What else are you doing? You're playing live soon.
Yeah, years and years ago, I did tours, I did all this, that, and the other, and then I got bit by the studio bug, and I would still occasionally do like the live band thing, and then every now and again, you work with bands, you work with artists, and sometimes you go out there and work with them, and then every once in a while, you just kind of work with people, and at a certain point, you're just like, man, I'm so fucking done with this thing. I was so burnt out on the late musician, the guy that has the guy or the girl that has the relationship issues and brings it into everything that happens there. Just all the stereotypes that you've heard about or seen on Death Clock, it's all real.
People who
All the
didn't do
Spinal
their
Tap,
homework.
all the stuff. Like you arrive on time, you pay musicians, you do all this stuff. And I got tired of being that fucking guy. So I kind of just fully dove myself into the world of recording and just living there. And maybe it was perhaps I felt burnt out by myself, by other musicians, or certain circumstances I could have handled better, or ones I could have put myself into better ones of. And I just kind of lived, basically I've always lived by the idea of like the guitar strap is not for fashion, it's for use. Go up and stand up and play. That's like what I've always lived by. And I had lately been so much just in the chair. Again, go back, you know how it goes. You guys know how it goes. So I got used to just like sitting and seeing and screen and playing and not seeing people and doing that. And so I've kind of missed it. And so one of the bands I worked with a long time ago, or I still do now, Make Believe Friends, their guitar player was doing another gig with his girlfriend, now wife, and they wanted me to fill in. So I went and filled in, and it had been like 5 years since I had played live. Sick. And I was like, okay. So I did that. And then I got a call from an old friend of mine who was doing a tribute to Mark Bolan in T-Rex, and I had been involved in that camp for many, many years, and I said, sure. And I got to doing it, and then people said, oh, you play out? And I said, very rarely, so I got hit up to go and be part of this kind of other alternative, like jam night, not the, what's that one at the Whiskey? Ultimate Jam Night. Mm-hmm. This one's called like the Rock Jam, and apparently I'm filling in for like the house band, and I'm just, diving through songs I haven't heard and been like
And you
heavily
said you
into.
have to learn like 30 songs or
Well,
something?
I said, like at first I said like these are like the main songs that you have to kind of learn, and most of them I kind of knew. So I was like, okay, I'll just rehash and go over them, see videos of people covering and make sure I'm doing some of these parts right. And then I reached out to some of the other musicians and said, hey, is there anything I should really know so I'm not surprised when I get there? And so they sent me a list of these other songs, and it jumped from like, let's say 8 to like 31.
Jesus Christ. That's a lot of music.
It's a lot. And like the thing is, I've heard a lot of these songs in the back of my head, but I just never cared about learning to play them because I was more interested in, like, quite frankly, like Opeth and Soilwork, stuff that like that genuinely makes my blood, get ready to go and play, because like it just excites me. And so I'm sitting there going like, wow, I'm like learning all the stuff I wanted to learn when I was 16, but I'm just redoing it again, and it's fun, but it's not like I'm much more for like original music and just wearing your heart on your sleeve that way.
Speaking of originality, I'm going to give my jam night lecture.
Oh, shit.
I love this, please.
Okay, so
Buckle up.
everyone listen to me. The point of a jam or a show where you're playing cover songs is not to play songs exactly as they were played on a recording in 1991, 1977, or 1986, okay? The point of a jam is to jam, which means to improvise.
Blasphemy.
Which means to learn the core of the song, meaning the chords, meaning the changes, where the downbeats and offbeats are. And what you can do as musicians, believe it or not, motherfuckers, is incorporate your own style, your own licks, and your own kind of fashion into that music, which is what Van Halen did, which is what any good band did. They learned the chords to the song, they learned the melody of the song, they learned the major hits of the song, but then all the little details in between were fucking up to you.
They made it their own.
Yeah, but we all should still be doing that in the spirit of originality and in the spirit of creativity. And like, that's why people are like, Tom, why don't you play jam nights? Well, I'm not talented enough to like fucking learn a Guns N' Roses song perfectly.
You could do it, bro.
I know, but I can get up there though and go, this chord's E, this chord's A. I know some blues licks. I'm going to listen to the other guitar player, and we're going to fucking get through it.
Here's the point. When they talked about a jam night, I was just like, cool, just pick a key and let's go. Mm-hmm. And I'm much more for that. I grew up a diehard Allman Brother guy.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of just being like naked and afraid out there. Live and die by it. You're going to find sour notes, but you're going to find great ones as well. Mm-hmm. And I'm more for that. If this were more about like, hey, here's a cover, but we're going to do it in this style, I'd be 10 times more excited.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying you're going to quit the jam?
No.
I have officially done it. No, man.
Right today on this podcast, it's a statement.
No. I'm actually looking forward to get to go meet some other musicians I haven't met around here before.
That's always fun.
Yeah, which is what I'm kind of looking forward to the most. I get to go meet some other people and just see what the vibe is. That's what I'm kind of looking forward to this more than anything.
Also, I got another interesting story. So there was a time, this is back in the 90s, I was in a bar band, and we played covers.
Yeah, that's what you do.
And there wasn't like a lot of ways for me to get a hold of music minus going to the store and buying a CD, right? So there was an Eagles song we were playing called Best of My Love, which I'd never heard the song at all. Like, cause I was born 1975. This is probably a little bit before that, or when I was a baby, didn't actually hear the song. So the only way that I was exposed to the song before playing it
was through the covers.
Well, no, was through sheet music. Somebody handed me a lead sheet, and they said, this goes C major 7 to C9. This is E minor 7. This is D7. Like, I went through and read the chart and played it however I would play it, and I never actually heard the song. I was just responding to like what was on the page with what the lyrics were
and what everyone was playing around you.
What everyone was playing around
Dude,
me.
you're practically a jazz musician.
But no, people, I am a jazz musician, but still they were like, wow, that's the jazziest, craziest version. Because remember when they would write music back in the day in the 90s, like some piano player who was a fucking rad jazz guy.
Yeah, would just chart it out.
He would chart out like crazy shit and they put the chord above it. So all I had was like the chord form and the melody, and I went through and learned it that way. And people were like, I was blown away by that fucking version of Best of My Love. And I'm like, thanks. I mean, I've never actually heard the song. And it was 6 or 7 months of me playing it out live on
Before
the road.
maybe you had ever really.
But no, it came on the radio one day as we were driving
And
to
it-
another gig.
it must have
I was
totally
like,
fucked
and I was
you
like,
up.
this is the most country fucking thing I've ever heard. I had no fucking idea because I was all
I'd like to hear this version.
It was like a John Mayer version of Best of My Love. It was almost like I was playing.
That's so cool.
Yeah, fucking Your Body Is a Wonderland or something. Like it was like that kind of vibe of it
What a
with
songwriter.
really jazzy chords. So that's what's weird. I want to encourage people, just be original. Do something fucking different out there. If you're going to a jam night, like, yes, if there's a riff, learn the fucking riff. Don't play Iron Man wrong. We don't want to do that. But you don't have to play the solo 100 times right. You know what I mean?
I'll interrupt and say this. Please don't do a ska reggae version of Crazy Train.
Which we heard recently. Me and Bernie heard that.
Look, I don't like to shit on people at all.
I don't like Crazy Train.
Okay, well, there we go.
Hot take.
Tom's gonna die. No, anyway, but no, there's just some versions that shouldn't see the light of day.
Well, there don't need to be that many versions, for fuck's sake.
We literally heard like Madness play it though. This fucking show.
I went to go show love to a fellow elite member.
Matt Cruz.
Yeah, that's right. And I was
Shout
there
out to
and
Matt.
I was hanging out, got out of the house for a bit. Saw, okay, band's opening. All right. What? Why?
What else did they play that was fucking wild?
It was other Aussie stuff, and I'm just not going to go there.
And they played all reggae ska versions of Aussie songs.
Really?
Yes. Which, if you know anything about heavy metal, the 16th notes really don't, translate to skanks and horn hits.
It was.
Do you have any
it was an
videos of
attempt-
this? I kind of want to see this.
I was afraid to take a video. I was afraid I was going to go to jail.
No. My phone was gonna, find its way into a pond before I hit record on that one. But
I mean, that could be in your best interest, frankly.
yeah, my phone should probably go. But for those who don't know, we all have a sense of humor, and some of ours are, puppies and kittens laughing, and mine's. Sure.
Let's just not
go
say.
there. But I'll just say this. My buddy and I, we send stuff back and forth to each other, just makes us blush and laugh. We know what we like. When I open it up, I have to have the volume down in case there's something very interesting on the other
Everything
end.
you send to me, i.e.
Exactly. So
Bernie does send a few spicy memes. He's been known.
I got to keep my people happy. So we have this pact between us. If either one of us goes out first, we're going to take the other guy's phone and throw it in the ocean.
There you go.
It's like rest assured when you die. It used to be a service you could
Mutually
pay to have
mutually
people come
assured
throw out your
destruction.
porn.
It's alphabetical. You clockwise, counterclockwise.
So your mom and dad don't know what kind of a degenerate you are with a butt plug and a bunch of porn.
Oh my god!
Holy
you mean the
shit.
kind that comes with the clapper?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, what? Are those Christmas lights in your pants, Bernie? Sure.
I gotta hand it to you, to all of us. I think we've raised the bar on episode 4 here.
This was a funny episode.
Pretty deep.
It was pretty fucking nerdy, though, for the regular people who had to listen to a lot of console talk.
There
for
were a
while.
lot of folks out there saying we want more of that music-oriented content.
Well, I hope I certainly provided some of it for you guys.
In the next episode, Tom's going to go through his chord structure for Best of My Love jazz version.
I will do it. Like, I still remember it.
It's even better.
I played it a lot. Anyway, okay, so this has been TC and the Wolf. It's been a fun night, and it was great having you here, Bern. Thank you.
Thank you
It
for
was
stopping
absolutely
by.
great to be had, and I'm just looking forward to more of what you guys put out, and just more of what's coming out in 2026. It's going to be a very promising
It's going
year.
to be a big year for Elite Recordings for all of us, right?
100%.
Let's keep the music coming, gentlemen.
All right, everyone. Fuck you. Goodbye. Peace.
Good night.